Hey, fellow BUTs, I like to call you. This is Heather Blaze coming to you today from Boost You. And today we're going to be talking about a supreme sales funnel that gets paying clients. Okay, so if you are a service based entrepreneur and you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you might feel like you're throwing stuff up on the wall to see what sticks and not getting the results you're looking for. If your phone isn't ringing with people who are a good fit for what you're offering, then you're in the right place because we're going to be talking about this supreme sales funnel that gets high paying clients, actually, not just any clients, but high paying clients. So I'm Heather Blaze. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. Hopefully, you can hear me. If you can hear me, please put it in the comments that you can hear me and say hello. Say hello. And if you're here, awesome. Thank you. If you're here with me live, you can put hashtag live. And if you're here watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. That would be great. So yeah, and I'm here every Thursday at 3 p.m. In the business growth blueprint for high ticket clients. And so if you want to join us there, there's lots of valuable information in there. And I'm here, like I said, every Thursday at 3 p.m. So today we're going to talk about these funnels. And if you don't know what a funnel is, it's basically if you picture like rain coming in, right? Rain being the clients or the prospects that are interested in what you have to offer. It's like creating this funnel, right? Where you capture them and then it gets narrower and narrower to bring those right people who would be a good fit and hopefully weeding out the ones that you wouldn't want to talk to that wouldn't be a good fit. It brings them through you to you automatically, typically. Okay. Or not necessarily. It doesn't have to be automatic, but it's like a step-by-step process that brings people onto your list and then gets them, into your store, into a phone call, or buying what you have to offer. Basically, is the end result. So today we're going to be talking about: is there such a thing as a supreme sales funnel? Some people opt in for a book, maybe, or a webinar, or a free PDF. After which you would then upsell to them or maybe downsell. Like, what do you do next, right? Some service-based entrepreneurs I know have these crazy and very complicated funnels, but the real question is that going to bring in more ideal clients and help you reach your financial goals quickly and efficiently? So you'll definitely come across some, experts out there who they'll teach you their system, one which maybe only worked for them, or one they've also learned from others but have not really proven it yet. So it's not like they're deceiving you into buying from them, although some might be doing just that. It's just that it worked before, it worked for a handful of people, but is it still applicable to you? And is it still applicable now? Right? Will it work for you if you're starting from scratch, let's say, right? Like these are some of the questions to ponder as you decide on how your funnel should be. And typically, in order to find someone who's going to be teaching you how to set up a funnel, you're going to have gone through their thing as well. So make sure that it's something that you like, right? And we're going to dive into all these different kinds of funnels. Just make sure if you are going to set yours up and have somebody help you with it, that you're following a strategy and a system that you like for yourself, right? Something that's not going to take a ton of time if you're looking for freedom and flexibility in your schedule type of thing. So most funnels are built around that idea of nurturing, right? And the whole idea of having a sales funnel is because you don't want to send someone who clicks on your ad or a social media post right into a sales pitch. But what you want to be doing instead is you want to be capturing their contact information so you can repeatedly engage with them and build a relationship with them. But the problem lies in the belief that you have to nurture these leads for weeks or months or even years by providing them with a lot of free content before you can actually give them what they actually need or what they're actually looking for, which is what you offer ultimately, right? So let me tell you right now that that is so wrong. Okay. That it does not have to be that way. You do not have to nurture these prospects or nurture these leads forever, for a long period of time. And what we're talking about here is that supreme funnel that gets somebody from the time they click the post to become a paying client can take as little as 24 to 48 hours. Okay. When it's simple, when it's done correctly. Okay. They can see you. You can establish yourself as a go-to expert in a matter of, an hour, 45 minutes, half an hour even. And then that brings them into a call with you and you can enroll them that quickly because they're prepped, right? So they get on there and they're ideal, they're ready to buy. So that's how a supreme funnel should work. Okay. So what I want to do today is give you these guiding principles so that you can make intelligent decisions when it comes to your own sales funnel. Because when someone comes to you, they usually have a problem, right? If you're in a if you have a service-based business, you offer a service, people coming to you have a problem that they need help with, and you don't want to be wasting the next few days or months before telling them how you can actually help them get out of their misery or get that result that they're looking for, or get that desired result, right? Understand, right, that these people are looking for a solution and that the quicker you can get them to that desired result, it's the better, right? It's going to be better. So you don't want to be taking weeks, months, years nurturing these people when they need a solution right now. Okay. Or they have this desire right now to get that result. So the earlier you give them that opportunity to say yes to your offer, the easier it will be for your prospect to make that buying decision. So keep your offer simple and straightforward to avoid confusing your audience, right? You need to be able to communicate the value effectively around what you're offering so that they get it and they're just like, oh my God, I need this now, right? You don't want them to be thinking like, what was this for again? Right. If too much time passes or whatever. Right. So you also see this as like you see this with entrepreneurs who do I can't speak today, who do launches. Right. So this is where they'll announce that they have this program maybe, or they have some offer and you only have a certain period of time to sign up for it, right? There's a cutoff date. So they're thinking like they're creating this sense of urgency by doing that, right? But what happens behind the scenes is just terrible, really. Like you plan these launches for, I don't know, 3, 6, 12 months in advance. And the nurturing and the growing of the email list happens during this preparation stage. But while you're at it, many of your prospects begin to lose interest because the emails, that they're receiving probably aren't helping them get that results. They're not helping them at all, maybe, right? They're just talking about, I don't know what, whatever. And then at the same time, having a launch window that's so short, you're limiting the number of people who can sign up for what you're offering. And they can only do so for maybe, once or twice a year, let's say, or maybe 4 times a year. So all those other people you were nurturing for maybe 3 to 6 months already went somewhere else to get the solution because they didn't have the luxury of time to wait on you. Okay. If you're going about it that way, if you're doing launches, right? So what you need to be doing is establishing that one, they've got a problem. Okay. Two, what they've been doing hasn't been working. Three, you have something infinitely better. Four, you have their best interest at heart. And five, tell them how to get to your offer. Okay. Simple. So in many business, in my businesses, actually, in my business, I can immediately help a prospect in like identify those parameters with what I call a valuable free offer. Okay. A VFO, I call it and the VFO is either a webinar or a white paper or an ebook. It's like a lead magnet, right? But it's not just any old lead magnet. It's not just like a free sample of something, right? Um, it establishes you as the go-to expert. It offers value. It gets them onto a call. It weeds out those prospects that you wouldn't want to talk to or waste time with, that wouldn't be a good fit. And it brings in those ideal, amazing clients that you would want to talk to. And I can tell you right now from experience that these people who are in your list are probably in the list of your competitors as well, right? So the one who makes the most compelling offer and does it immediately will have a better chance at landing that client than someone who's taking forever, right? Or who's nurturing forever. So you don't need, the stuff that warms people up, right? Like that lead magnet that's just a whatever lead magnet, or surveys or quizzes or launches or any of that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? So let me just double check the comments here. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Hi, Peggy. Good to see you. So, this idea of like seven touches, right? Seven touch points is also taught in a lot of marketing by a lot of gurus, right? The idea that people will need to hear from you over and over again before they purchase anything from you. But understand that the buyer of today has already evolved. Okay. They don't need dozens of phone calls with you. They might actually tell you that they're annoyed, right? Like, stop bugging me, that you keep calling them. Um, Besides, right, if your first touch or your first encounter with that prospect, or that prospective client, right, is already awesome, then that's all you really need to get them to say yes to you, right? And then when you have this supreme sales funnel, they're saying yes to you all along the way, right? It's like one thing they say yes to, the next thing they say yes to, like the post, right? Actually, it starts with the image. Like the image stops the scroll, right? So if they've stopped long enough to read what you've written in your post, right? That's one yes. It's like, yes, I liked your image. I stopped. That resonated with me, right? Then if they read your post, they're saying yes to you again because they've read your post, right? And if they click on, into your valuable free offer, they're saying yes to you a third time, right? Because now they've given you their valuable information to trade for this valuable free offer, right? Um, and then if they stay and, if they read through it or if they watch your valuable free offer that does those things that I just talked about, right? Establishes you as the go-to expert against the competition. Offers them specific value, right? That gets them eager to call you, right? Weeds out those ones that you don't want to talk to, brings in like that. That's like an effective, valuable free offer, right? Once they've gone through all that and they actually book a call with you or they come into your store or whatever it is that you want them to do next, that's another yes. I can't remember how many yeses we're on. Is that 4 or 5 yeses, right? So they've already said by the time they get to you to actually talk to them so that you can size them up and make sure that they're a good fit, they've already said yes to you like 5, 6, whatever times, right? Going through your supreme funnel. Make sense? So don't get all comfortable, don't get all comfortable when a client doesn't sign up at once too, right? Like don't sit back and say, oh, that's okay. It's going to take 7 more times, right? Back to those 7 touch points or more before they make a purchasing decision. Like, I'm okay. My sales strategy is okay. No, if it's taking like forever, like weeks, and it's like, oh, you got to do this email and that email and I got to call them and like that's a long time, right? So, if your strategy is again, like they can enroll within 24 to 48 hours from first seeing you, that's awesome because the competition probably isn't doing that, right? But if you're making an offer and you keep getting rejected, then maybe it's time to think about what's missing, like what needs tweaking, what needs to go. Another thing that I want to touch on is going low ticket. Okay. So I teach how do you bundle your value? How do you take your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, your experiences that keep you, genuine and authentic? How do you bundle all that into a high ticket offer, right? So there's a lot of people offering services out there, but there is a way to bundle your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, and tack on a bunch of value for people, um, to have so that you can offer it for $3,000 to $10,000. Okay. Anywhere in there. It depends what you do. It might be a little bit less or a little bit more, but typically it's right around that range. But there's this whole idea that going low ticket serves your clients better, but it doesn't, right? As I've talked about in previous lives, the lower the price, the lower the commitment is, right? And if you're offering a service, like let's say it's weight loss or something, like you need people to show up and do what you teach them so that they can get the result, right? Or let's say it's a marriage counselor or something like that. Same thing. Like it's not like here's one thing and you're fixed, right? Like you need to give these people tools and exercises and they need to use them and be committed to getting that result, right? You can offer them that knowledge, wisdom, and expertise, but they've got to do the work. They've got to be committed to getting the result, right? So compared to if you charge, if you're charging that low ticket compared to if you're charging like a high ticket, like 3K to 10K, the clients are just going to show up ready to work because they want to get their money's worth. It's an investment, right? They don't want to waste it. So if it's free or if it's cheap or if you're discounting it, again, they're gonna show up with that commitment level, they're not gonna get the result, and then they're gonna be like, "This person doesn't know what they're doing," probably, right? So, it's also a major issue if you're running ads too, though. So, let's just say that your ad spend is at $3 to get to get 100 leads, let's say, you would need to spend 300, right? If each lead is worth $3, you need 100 leads, that's 3 times 100, that's 300, right? So now from those 100 people, on the average, only 1 or 2 are gonna end up buying from you. Okay, that's statistical, information. It's typical. So that means at most 2 people who will be buying, let's say you offer a $27 ebook, okay? So you just spent $300 and earned back $54. Okay? You see why going low ticket is the fastest way to go broke? So it's just so much work for so little profit, that it will definitely not last long, right? And it takes just as much time, energy, and effort to create a higher ticket offer than a lower ticket offer. You still need your message to resonate. You still need to get the right, with those right people, like setting up that funnel to buy one or the other. So you might as well go high ticket, right? And even if you do sell those thousands and thousands of low ticket offers, like how would you be able to provide that client support for all of them? Right. So, you know, nurturing, right? The nurturing just doesn't work. So following up with 7 touches doesn't either, and low ticket doesn't work either, right? So the question is, what does work? Okay? So now let's flip the script and say that you spend $100 to get a qualified lead on an ad. Okay. Now, if your enrollment rate is at 5 to 1, okay, that would mean that you're spending $500 to enroll one client, but at a premium price of 5,000 or 8,000, let's say. Right. So when you do that, everything just feels right because you're respecting the client's time when you offer them something that can actually fix their problem, right? And then you can go deeper with them too, right? Because you're going to be able to hit your financial goals much quicker and have that income to be able to show up for them and not have to have a thousand clients, right? You can probably hit your financial goals with 2 or 3 or 4, right? Like if you're offering it for 5K for clients, you're at 20K a month, right? I mean, your goals might be bigger, but it's always scalable, right? So you're also setting yourself up to win financially, and then you're making an impact because you're not offering a hodgepodge of information, but instead are doing deep work with a handful of super committed clients. Is that making sense? Let's check the comments here. Awesome. Okay, cool. So hopefully you're still with me and it's making sense. Um, so, if you're like, do you see how it's like leveraging the time and money, right? So if you're hitting your financial goals with 4 clients, you're going deep with those clients, it's going to give you that time freedom to be able to, have self-care for yourself so that you can be your best self to show up for others. Right. And then plus you have all that time freedom to still do the things that you enjoy because, you don't need to be glued to your computer all day when you're working with a few people only. And like, yes, it takes time to set something like that up, but once it's set up and once you've got it automated, then there's very little time that needs to be dedicated to it. It's not easy setting it up. I'm not going to, say it's easy. It's not easy, but it can be simple. And if you have that superior funnel, it just makes it and it's set up in this way, right? It just makes more sense. So to sum it up, okay, building a business is, like I said, never easy. But with the right strategies in place, it becomes a lot more simple and the chances of succeeding are almost guaranteed. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you. Hopefully you can see the shift in a superior funnel versus doing like low ticket or launches or things like that. I mean, or like scouring for people on the internet, cold calling, all that stuff is so time consuming, so draining. It can work for sure, but it's a lot. It's a lot more difficult, a lot more, a lot less streamlined. than it needs to be. And like I said, right, people will go away if you're spending that long of a time nurturing people, right? It's like get them to find you, get them into a conversation with you, and get them enrolled so that you can help them and so that you can get that result for them. Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful. If you want to know more about what it takes to have a high ticket offer that people will actually call and pay you for around what you offer specifically, you're just like, I don't know if I could do that. I have a service, but it doesn't seem like that would be possible for me. Not 100%. It might not be, but most likely it would be. But we would need to get on a phone call and kind of hear about it and see what you're offering, see if there's a way to tack on value to see if you could offer what you're offering for, anywhere between 3,000 and 10,000. Most likely it's doable, right? But again, it depends. So just type in the word high ticket in the comments below and or wherever the comments are, might be below, might be beside. And I or someone from my team will get back to you with a DM. We can hop on a quick call. We can find out, exactly what you're doing, what's working, what's not working. I'm like a doctor. I can diagnose in your business, if you're not hitting your financial goals, if you feel like I said in the beginning, if you feel like you're spinning your wheels like a hamster, not getting those results, or throwing a bunch of stuff up on the wall to see what sticks and nothing's sticking, like your message isn't resonating, people aren't calling, then yeah, like I said, post high ticket in the comments below and we'll reach out to you and get you hooked up um, for a free phone call. Okay. See what we can do. And see if it would be a good fit to work together. If not, then we can point you in the direction of someone that we might know that can get you there. So thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to double check, see if there's any questions here. Makes sense, but clinicians have not been taught this idea. Yes, for sure, Peggy. I mean, most schools don't teach this. Most people that get a degree or a certification or anything like that, they're not taught this type of thing. So absolutely, and that's why I created the system too. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will see you again next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Take care, everyone.